G'day, sports fans. Always wanted to say that.
Tip of the hat to Mr. Jungles. We miss you.
So today we're at Lake Kerferd in Victoria, up near the town of Stanley,
Yeah.
where nobody ever goes apparently.
God, that's come to haunt me twice today. We as per usual struggled this whole summer for flying, and yet again.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Ted and I both have these swamp dogs.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd give them a run and do some formation.
FPVing on the water. Yeah.
So it's a great location. There was just a dusting of breeze on the water, but nothing to...
Yes, a few uneducated ducks as well.
Yes.
I sorted them out.
Yeah. Ted's got them up to speed. So no, it was good. We headed out along the... What was it? Did we head along the bank first? Or did
along the dam wall, yeah.
Yep. So you're following?
Yeah, you're in the OSD boat.
Yep.
You don't have an OSD. I thought you did.
Well, I can put one on. I've not put the battery in that on.
Right.
I probably could.
I was going to say, I find it very helpful to be keeping an eye on what the battery voltage is as soon as it hits 10.8. I'm heading for home. But never mind. No. So the HD camera's on mine out the front here.
Yep.
And Jase is behind with the SD display up in the top left-hand corner.
Top right.
Yeah, the other left hand.
I don't have a HD camera fitted to mine, and you'll see why.
Don't give the plot away. Okay, so we're going to swap positions. Jase is going to come past and go out the front. There he goes.
So I'm running Easy UHF for control link and 5.8 for video and right-hand circular polarised.
Yep, and I'm using the FrySky 2.4 gig because I just happen to have it lying around, and 5.8 gig left-hand circular polarised.
So it was interesting when we set up. I don't think we were aware how close our channels were to one another, because I did a scan and there wasn't a huge amount, so probably having the two different like left hand and right hand probably helped.
Would have helped, yes, I think so. But having said that, wait till you see the video later on. Now, we're getting close to where you head across the lake and I get caught by your wake.
It's interesting that, like, you can either sit right in the centre
and try to play submarines.
But surprisingly, the camera was fine. There was just a little bit of water on the bottom of the lens when I picked her out of the water. But yeah, this following thing's interesting. If you sit right behind, it's okay. But if you sit in the wake, either the left or the right, God help you.
You bumped around quite severely.
Oh yeah. Now, have you got a stabiliser on yours?
Yes, it's running it's an overblown 3 or 6 axis stabiliser or something or other. Okay. But effectively it just operates the rudder and it helps. It doesn't keep it in a straight line, but it does help keep it in a straight line. It takes a lot of stress off constantly having to jiggle the rudder stick.
I think they're quite popular with RC cars, from what my reading sort of was telling me. So I've not fitted one, but I can certainly say that it makes life easier. It's well worth doing. Yep.
Especially on this thing, because this thing gets knocked around by the breeze. Even the vaguest suggestion of a breeze will knock you off course. So.
Yeah. But look, on the flip side, an airboat's terrific for lakes that have got a lot of reeds and stuff.
Yes.
Like trying to recover this from the middle of this lake would be...
not a lot of fun.
No. Technically, you're not meant to swim in it, and so...
Well, technically, we're not supposed to be boating either. But...
Yeah, I don't know whether you would call something the size of not much bigger than an ice cream lid as a boat, but I think I gave it a little squirt there.
Yes, you did rather.
That was interesting too. Like, we've done a lot of formation flying, and just doing this formation boating is has been interesting. Like,
yes, it has. Yep.
In many ways, it's easier, but there are a couple of gotchas, like the lead can't just come off the throttle because you stop. It's not like you continue to glide along. Now, I think what happens here, I come in to change.
You've used your last battery.
Okay, so I've only got 2. This was a whole experiment because somebody over in Adelaide said, "This is fantastic." So I thought I'll build one. And look, it's been all right. I think it's kept my sanity a little bit over the...
Oh, it's a good alternative to flying. It's certainly not as good as, but it's if you can't fly, this is a good second.
And coupled with that is a lot of the stuff that we use for flying cross-pollinates into
exactly.
this, like...
There's a lot of stuff we've learnt already we don't need to relearn.
Yes. So we have experimented a little bit with motors and props on these things.
Yes, that took a while to settle down because the motor on this thing is rubbish.
Yeah.
Just pure rubbish, and the props even rubbisher.
So I designed a little adapter that allows you to run a very common sort of mini quad.
2208?
Well, I thought it was 2205 or something.
2205,
yeah.
2300 kV.
Yeah, and I'm running a 3-bladed. You're running a 4-bladed.
Yeah. Don't know that there's very much difference between the two. I haven't really noticed anything greatly.
I was really curious how we were going to go with that because from what you were saying on the phone, I thought, gee, I think I'm going to struggle to keep up with you. But we were both sort of doing quite well.
Yeah.
And the run times are really good with this combination. Like, I'm using a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, and I can run
1,300 for me.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Same here, around about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, these little swamp dogs, or Gart is the brand.
Yep.
You got to do a little bit of, I don't know, jiggery pokery.
Yeah, just bringing them up to speed for this kind of stuff. Because once you've done that, they work pretty well. Now, this is an interesting bit here. Jase has done his last battery, and he's tuned his DVR over to my boat. So you can tell that because I have stickers on mine. I don't like them going around in the nutty. And when we get across to the other side, because I go right across to the other side here, and we are looking at the picture, I thought, the picture in my goggles was much better than this. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Then it occurred to me, you've got a right-hand circular polarised antenna on your receiver, and I've got a left-hand polarised circular antenna on my transmitter.
Yeah.
So any hoo-ha with the picture, that's the reason for it.
It was funny, I was looking at it, I think in my monitor or goggles, and I thought, look, that's, to be honest, it's a bit disappointing, the video quality at that distance.
How far do you reckon it is to where I turn around just in front of that pontoon?
I'm guessing a few hundred metres, would you say so?
Yeah, I'd say 200 to 300, yeah.
Whereas I've been right out to the other end of the lake, and not had any issue. And I was sort of thinking, what's wrong? But and then when you sort of said about the antennas,
yep, that's all it was.
But I think Ted is he's considering whether he'll go through this little thing here.
And Jase's saying, no, don't do it.
I'm a bit worried that I'll be the one swimming out. It's like, you're younger, you can do it. It's like, thanks.
I also remember there's a stick poking up out of the water along here somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember we passed and it's like, did you see that? Yep.
Keep an eye open for that. Here he comes.
Yeah, we've had a few spectators today too. That was funny.
Did. What, about 8 or 9 people?
Yeah, they're...
Nobody ever comes here.
Look, any time I've been there, every time you or Neil comes up, I get proven wrong. But all these mountain bikers turned up, and it was really funny. One of them, it was like, I have to say, it's like
what are you up to?
Yeah, what are you guys doing? It's like a 2 or 3 year old. It's like, I'd never do that to anyone. I'd never like, what are you doing? It's like, and I don't know. We were polite, but it's just funny. And one guy was sitting down watching. I think he was quite fascinated, because you go a fair way. I think you'd...
Well, in comparison to model boats, you're out of sight.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable how much further, and that you don't need to be using anything particularly special. It's just that you can go further than you could see because you are aware of, unlike what people like to say about flying aircraft, you are aware of where you are, what direction you're heading and the conditions around you. And you can also hear stuff.
Are you suggesting you have situational awareness?
Yeah, something
at
like
the
that.
helm.
Anyway, enough of a rant.
Okay, yeah. We'll leave that for Bruce and Curry Kitten.
Oh,
not another duck.
So that's it for this session.
Yeah.
And we'll review the video from Lake Kerferd, Lake Samble this evening and see if there's anything worth posting in there. There should be.
Yeah.
Because the cameras usually show up better on the DVR than they do in the flesh. So until then,
take care.
Yeah.
Down there.